When I saw Decatur Public Schools come across my desk, I knew it was an immediate top priority for us. The deal was sent to us by our partners over at Nania Energy, and when it comes to the opportunity to make an impact at a local level, support schools in energy savings, and really the opportunity to make an impact, it was an immediate yes from our team. Here's how we delivered access to $78,000 a year in savings for Decatur Public School District in under 90 days. If you don't know who I am, my name is Dakota Malone. I co-founded Community Solar Authority. We've unlocked access to over $35 million in future energy savings. And I promise by watching this video, you'll understand how we help Illinois large energy users improve their bottom line by lowering electricity costs without spending any money and without installing solar. I'm going to tell you 3 things about this school district, a little bit about Decatur, how we use community solar to lower electricity costs, and help you understand exactly how we could do it for you as well. All right, guys, so we hopped on my computer. I am going to tell you all about Decatur Public Schools and how we ultimately were able to support them with a community solar rollout. So here's some quick facts about the district. It was founded in 1865 and houses about 8,000 students across their schools. There's about 15 schools throughout the district, and they were the 26th biggest district according to some stats I found in 2018. And over half of their students come from economically disadvantaged areas, which is why when we got the opportunity to support them, it was an immediate yes. Because here's the thing. When you take a lot of schools across the district, you add a lot of students using a lot of energy and power, you end up with high utility bills. And ultimately, what the district did to combat this was create a master facility plan that began about 12 months ago in October of 2024 at the time of recording this video. Now, this was designed as a way to showcase long-term sustainability, support their students, combat rising energy costs, and ultimately manage their energy budget in a better way. Again, this focuses on the students, and when they can solve their energy problems, they have a better time and more budget to dedicate to education and learning, which is where we believe at Community Solar Authority, this money should go when it comes to municipalities and schools spending their dollars. It should not be going towards, managing energy budgets and rising electricity costs, but rather into the education of the students and making sure that their quality of life is being improved. So where does Community Solar Authority fit into this entire equation? Well, I'll tell you. Let's jump off of my computer first, and I'm going to tell you all about community solar. I posted the story about our very first deal in our book, Community Solar Rollout Playbook, and I felt it was important to share now so you could capture the essence of what community solar is and really how it works. So it was 2019-ish at the time, and we were working completely on residential customers, so homeowners, helping them access the community solar program. The average homeowner would save about $100 a year, and one day in the middle of winter in the freezing cold, I happened to walk into a manufacturing business, a local business, and it was really just to get out of the cold. The conversation ended up me being able to speak to the owner, and essentially I remember him being across the desk from me and ultimately saying something like, Dakota, as long as what you're saying here is true, this $10,000 a year that I could potentially save with community solar would completely change what we're doing in the energy space. And it was that belief, that one conversation where up until that point, I was only working with homeowners, but my brain went off with a light bulb moment and it said, well, hold on, if this guy's using a lot of energy and he cares about lowering electricity costs without spending any money and without installing solar, if this guy cares about community solar, then what do even larger energy users care about? And literally from that day, we never sold to residential homeowners again. We completely changed our marketing strategy. And for the last over half decade now, we've worked with large energy users in New York and Illinois, and we've helped them access the community solar program in an average of 90 days. We've unlocked access to over $35 million in future energy savings with the program. And it's not because we've helped 1 million residential customers. It's because we've helped a low volume of very, very large energy users, some of the largest corporations, municipalities, investors, big businesses, manufacturers in New York and Illinois. And we've helped them in a way where they have been able to find energy savings without spending any money, without using any internal resources. Our team does all of the work, and they're able to benefit from community solar for years to come. So if you think your team is ready for a conversation on community solar implementation, you can go to communitysolaurauthority.com and book a call. we'll deliver you what we call our Community Solar Readiness Report, which is a simple scoring system on how ready we think you are to implement community solar into your energy strategy. You can get your questions answered. We'll show you our Community Solar Calculator and ultimately let you know if we think our organization can support yours in accessing community solar. All right, guys, that's the quick bit. Let's jump back onto my computer and so I can tell you all about the stats when it comes to how we help Decatur Public School District access $79,000 a year in estimated savings. All right, guys, we're back at my computer. Can I get a drum roll, please? I'm going to share with you the stats of how we help Decatur Public School District. So just to get an idea of how we support our clients, we take their energy bill for every account they have, and we look at 12 months of billing. We look at their delivery, their taxes, their supply, and we see what qualifies based on what market we're in, community solar legislation and rules, and their types of meters and a bunch of other information. So for the school district, we took all of their schools and we looked at 12 months of billing for all of their accounts. And we ultimately got an average annual energy spend of about $790,000 after we sized it at 90%. And so what we actually do is get on our calculator, and it's totally free for our clients. We'll take your average spending and we'll be able to spit out a report so that you can share it with your stakeholders, so that as we're educating our clients through the community solar process, you have a really good idea of what's the cost of doing nothing. And in the case of the school district, the cost of doing nothing was almost $80,000 a year if they didn't do community solar. And we're not talking about just a one-time piece of savings. This is something that is long-term, over many years, and it doesn't cost them anything, and our team does all of the work, and that's the power of community solar. So again, let's calculate it. I'll show you a screenshot of our community solar savings calculator. I took their energy tax and I just added it into their delivery and supply costs. And again, ultimately, they came to about $881,000 a year across their school districts. You can see here that the qualified allocation is about 90% of your total energy costs. So their total energy costs are here. After about 90% of savings, or excuse me, 90% of your total energy costs, that's about $790,000. And you can see that their annual savings on average is $79,290. The cool thing about the calculator is it shows you the before and after of what it looks like without, what it looks like with community solar. It shows you a little bar graph to give you a cost comparison. And again, it lets you download those results so that you can share it with your stakeholders. So I have a question for you. If you're an Illinois large energy user, would you trade access to lower electricity costs for years to come in an average of 90 days without installing solar for free? It's exactly what we deliver for our clients at Community Solar Authority. We help corporations, municipalities, big businesses, manufacturing, and all large energy users to access the community solar program. And that's how we fit into your energy strategy. Before we go, I want to give you some closing thoughts. It actually bothers me that superintendents and schools need to consider axing educational programs just to make space for their energy budget being blown out because costs keep going up. Community Solar Authority is committed to making a local impact in the state of Illinois. And, for us, what better place to start than our schools and municipalities, where our kids and future generations are being taught. If you're a large energy user, municipality, big government, school, university, whatever, if you're a large energy user and you want to look at community solar, our team at Community Solar Authority would love to help. Again, if you go to communitysolarauthority.com and book a call, or you can visit me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Dakota Malone. We would love to host a conversation with you and see if we could support. Our work with Decatur Public School District is an example of our mission in motion. We are on a mission to see the nationwide adoption of community solar and make sure that these available savings go to the organizations that need it the most. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or comment on this video, and I will catch you on the next one.